Xiao Yan's eyes swept around after he had identified the magical beast hiding in the deep pool, after which he quietly withdrew a couple of 100 meters. Next, he found a spot where the wind was blowing in the direction of the deep pool. He took out a fruit tree from his storage ring. This fruit tree was icy blue in color. It was only around half a foot in size, and at its tip sat a fist-sized blue-colored fruit. The surrounding air became much more moist when this fruit appeared. Surging water affinity energy rushed out like water in a flood. This fruit tree was called the Water-Drunken Cloud Immortal Tree. The fruit on top of it was called the Water Cloud Fruit. There was an extremely dense water affinity energy within it. This fruit held a potent attraction to some water affinity magical beasts. Moreover, the energy within it was vast, mighty, causing the fruit to possess a special drunken liquid within it. The effect of this drunken liquid was fantastic. Even a Tier 7 magical beast would become drunk and fall asleep after having swallowed it. Xiao Yan needed the drunken liquid within this water cloud fruit. Ugh, in order to obtain the Pill Soul Serum, I can only sacrifice this thing. Xiao Yan carefully buried the water-drunken cloud immortal tree under the ground. Moreover, in order to achieve a lifelike look, he made sure the surrounding soil was the same. From a distance, it seemed as though this thing had been growing here the entire time. The spot where the tree was buried was some distance from the deep pool, because Xiao Yan was aware that the intelligence of a rank 7 magical beast was not weak. If such a treasure were to suddenly appear beside it, it would definitely stir its doubt. Although the distance was currently a little far, Xiao Yan was confident that the beast would be lured out. The allure of the water cloud fruit to a water affinity magical beast was something that Xiao Yan had witnessed once. After burying this water-drunken cloud immortal tree, Xiao Yan's body moved and he leaped into an enormous tree. His body was hidden in lush, green branches. His gaze penetrated the gaps as he observed the calm, deep pool from a distance. His aura was completely withdrawn at this moment. This patch of forest had also become unusually quiet following Xiao Yan's silence. However, the deep pool not show the slightest response, not even a ripple on the surface of the deep pool. Xiao Yan did not reveal any anxious emotion despite the situation. After waiting for nearly half an hour and finding that there was still no activity, Xiao Yan finally shut his eyes slowly and recuperated. Today, he would squander time with this fellow. Nearly 3 to 4 hours quietly passed after Xiao Yan shut his eyes. During this period of time, the forest remained quiet. Not even the slightest magical beast roar sounded. This quiet atmosphere caused one's pores to open. Splash! Another hour passed. Suddenly, the sound of a slight wave of water appeared within this quiet forest. At this instant, Xiao Yan's eyes, which had been shut, were suddenly opened. He instantly turned in the direction the deep pool was located, only to find circular water ripples were forming on the pool. Is it finally unable to endure any longer? Is it about to come out? Xiao Yan smiled quietly in his heart when he saw this. His heart contained some excitement. With his strength, it was not difficult for him to deal with the mysterious water tiger snake. However, this current location was not suitable for a big battle. After all, if some other magical beasts were attracted by it, things would likely become bad for him. A powerful aura began to gradually appear within Xiao Yan's spiritual perception, following the increasing number of ripples on the surface of the deep pool. It is indeed a rank 7 mysterious water tiger snake. Xiao Yan lifted his brows upon sensing the aura. Splash! A black figure suddenly got out of the pool not long after the aura appeared. It brought about a wave of foam created by the splashing water. This black figure was quite short. It was merely 2 meters or so in length. Its body was covered in blue-colored scales, and the lines on the scales appeared just like a tiger pattern. At a glance, it emitted a fierce aura. Its savage, large mouth revealed a cold glint. A pair of concentrated snake eyes swept all around. Xiao Yan slightly nodded when he saw the mysterious water tiger snake appear. It might appear quite small, but if it were to enter combat mode, it was likely that it would swell to 100 meters in size. At that time, just a swing of its tail might send the entire mountain flying. For some unknown reason, the mysterious water tiger snake that had appeared did not take a human form. Its dozens of long tentacles continued swung about. A moment later, its eyes turned to the interior of the forest where Xiao Yan had buried the water-drunken cloud immortal tree. This mysterious water tiger snake was obviously extremely cautious. Even though it had sniffed a scent that it found difficult to resisting, it still did not appear anxious. After hesitating in front of the deep pool, it suddenly widened its large mouth, and a blue light was spat from its mouth. After which, it transformed into a circular energy barrier that wrapped around the pill soul serum and the large stone. Only after placing this layer of defense did it swing its tail. Its body rushed through the air as it quickly hurried to the forest. Surprise flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes when he saw that this fellow was this cautious. It was indeed worthy of being a rank 7 magical beast. This intelligence was much higher than an ordinary magical beast. The mysterious water tiger snake rushed into the forest. It sniffed for that serene fragrance and roamed for quite a while before finding the water-drunken cloud immortal tree that Xiao Yan had planted in a somewhat remote location. A human-like wild joy flashed across its snake eyes when it saw this cloud immortal tree. Against Xiao Yan's expectations, it did not act immediately. Instead, it swung its tail. A pale blue water curtain swiftly spread out in circular shape with it being the center. Xiao Yan's heart was slightly startled when he saw this tactic of the mysterious water tiger snake. A thought passed through his heart, and his spiritual strength suddenly surged out. After which, this spiritual strength completely surrounded his body. The water curtain rippled over Xiao Yan just as his spiritual strength had completely wrapped around him. Fortunately, it did not stir any other activity. The water curtain spread for nearly 100 meters before it slowly came to a stop, after which it suddenly turned into some mist and scattered. The mysterious water tiger snake finally relaxed after having surveyed the area. It widened its large mouth and another water curtain shot out, encircling the cloud immortal tree within it, after which it absorbed the tree into its ferocious, large mouth. With a swing of its tail, it anxiously flew back to the deep pool. Xiao Yan quietly laughed while he hid between the tree branches when he saw this fellow had finally ate the fruit. His finger slightly moved without leaving a trace. Xiao Yan's finger had just moved when the water cloud fruit, that had been wrapped by the water curtain, suddenly split apart. Wave after wave of a fluid slowly flowed out and dripped down. The sudden split of the water cloud fruit attracted the attention of the mysterious water tiger snake. It immediately became startled, after which it suddenly seemed to have understood something. A bright blue glow abruptly surged out of its body.
Bang!
The glow had just appeared when it came to a sudden stop. At the same time, the body of the mysterious water tiger dragon suddenly landed on the ground. A dense, serene fragrance, hinting at a drunken feeling, seeped out of its body. Swoosh! Xiao Yan knew the water cloud fruit had taken effect the moment the mysterious water tiger snake landed on the ground. His body moved, and he rushed down from the tall tree like lightning. He appeared on the enormous stone within a couple of flashes, after which he let out a violent punch and broke the curtain of. After which, he curled his hand and the flame agglomerated into a thorn shape that pierced the large rock. Next, he forcefully excavated that hole. Xiao Yan took out a cold jade box from his storage ring after excavating the large rock. He carefully placed this rock, containing the pill soul serum, into it, after which he flicked his hand and returned it to his storage ring. His body moved without hesitation, and he rushed into the distant forest at a low altitude. Within a few leaps, his body had already disappeared. Although the effect of the water cloud fruit was extremely strong, it was unable to last for long. With the strength of the mysterious water tiger snake, it was likely that it would wake up in 2 to 3 minutes. If he left too late, the infuriated mysterious water tiger snake would definitely give chase. This prediction of Xiao Yan proved to be correct. Soon after he had fled from the deep pool, a furious roar resounded over the mountain in an earth-shaking manner. Xiao Yan was still able to hear that mountain-shaking sound from a great distance. Clearly, the mysterious water tiger snake was unleashing its fury. Xiao Yan secretly laughed when he heard this roar, after which he increased his speed and hurriedly left this dangerous place. There was a grand hall built with large rocks standing on the top of the mountain that appeared just like a sky-supporting pillar. Two enormous beasts were guarding the large hall. Two fierce auras were seeping out of the bodies of these two large beasts. From the looks of it, they were even stronger than the mysterious water tiger snake. "Grandaunt, have you eaten enough?" An angry roar that contained great heartache was suddenly emitted from within the large hall. The two magical beasts at the entrance of the hall raised their eyes when they heard this roar. Immediately, they lowered their heads and acted as though they had not heard anything. In the deepest part of the enormous stone hall was an extremely wide field. At this moment, the field was piled with a countless number of medicinal ingredients neatly ordered. If Xiao Yan and the others were to come to this place, they would immediately become stunned. Any one of these ingredients could attract the desire of many alchemists if they were taken to the outside world. However, they were as common as cabbage in this place. There was a large, burly-looking man among these many natural treasures. The large man randomly stood, but he gave one a heavy mountain-like feeling and could not be underestimated. However, this large man, who appeared to be an extraordinary being, was looking at the middle of the field with the desire to cry at this moment. A lovely little figure had grabbed what seemed like an unusually rare medicinal ingredient, after which she stuffed it into her little mouth in an unceremonious manner. The clear chewing sound caused the large man's heart to feel a bleeding pain. "What are you howling for? Once I have eaten until I'm full and found the person I am looking for, I will naturally bring you out of this place. Relax, isn't it just breaking open space? That is what I specialize in," that little figure muttered as she ate. It seemed that she was extremely dissatisfied with the heartache the large man felt. Due to him being afraid that the mysterious water tiger snake would give chase, Xiao Yan had rushed away wildly after having hit his aura. Only then did he gradually slow down. He looked all around him. Currently, he was near the middle of the mountain. The area higher above was covered in a dense fog of energy. Moreover, Xiao Yan was also able to sense some extremely powerful auras within these dense fog. It would be extremely troublesome if these auras were to pester him. Now, all I can do is quietly climb to the top of the mountain and try to see if I am able to steal the task items that I need. With my strength alone, it might be a little difficult to forcefully snatch them. Xiao Yan stood on a giant tree. He overlooked a partially visible mountain top as he mused to himself. Xiao Yan ceased hesitating after having made up his mind. He was just about to move when a thought suddenly passed through his mind. His eyes suddenly slid to the bottom of the mountain. An extremely intense energy ripple suddenly erupted from that spot. This kind of ripple was not that of an ordinary energy fluctuation. Instead, it was a ripple that was sparked by a doji battle. Xiao Yan involuntarily knit his eyebrows when he sensed this kind of fluctuation. If he could sense it, the fierce beast would definitely be able to sense it. Thus, it would certainly end up attracting some of their attention. Xiao Yan attentively listened for a moment and was vaguely able to hear some slight human noise. He was immediately startled. Could it be Xiao Ying's group? Xiao Yan knit his brows as he mused for a moment. He suddenly turned his body around and quietly rushed to the source of the energy ripple. It was not that he wished to rescue Xiao Ying's group. Instead, it was because the activity their group had created would definitely attract the attention of some high-rank magical beast. He could perhaps be able to hide by their side. Once he discovered signs of those fierce beasts revealing themselves, he would be able to slip away, taking the opportunity to steal the medicinal ingredients within the cave at the top of the mountain. Xiao Yan's body flashed across the forest like a gust of wind while this thought flashed across his heart. Around a couple of minutes later, his body suddenly leaped forward, and he entered the top of a tree that was covered with lush, green leaves. His eyes looked through the gap between the leaves. A concave basin appeared where his sight could reach. At this moment, there were nearly 100 people clustered within this basin. His gaze swept over them, and he did indeed see a couple of familiar figures. They were clearly Xiao Ying's group. The space here. Xiao Yan's eyes swept over it before suddenly focusing on the space around it. His eyes picked up on a distortion around them. Spiritual barrier. Xiao Yan's heart suddenly turned cold upon seeing this. He had seen this thing before. That so-called old Mugu had used this thing that night, causing the little fairy doctor and the rest to be unable to discover his invasion. It seems that something is wrong. Xiao Yan's heart had sunk upon seeing this spiritual barrier. From the looks of it, it seemed someone was preparing to attack Xiao Ying's group. Moreover, the person who was attacking them possessed an extremely terrifying strength. This spiritual barrier was not something an ordinary expert would be able to construct. Is it that black-clothed man? Xiao Yan's heart suddenly moved while he was deep in thought. His gaze turned to that concave basin with the speed of lightning. He did indeed see a black-colored figure among the group. This fellow is really ruthless. He is thinking of finishing off all these people. Songqing and Xiaoying are people with the potential to fight for the champion spot in this gathering. If these two people are killed, this thought flew within Xiao Yan's heart as shock involuntarily surfaced within his eyes. This black-clothed man was really vicious. Mister, what do you mean by this? Are you planning on attacking all of us here? Nearly 100 figures were surrounding the black figure within this basin. Songqing was currently staring at the black-clothed man with a furious expression as he asked in a deep voice. This person had suddenly launched an attack when they headed over to this place earlier. Within a blink of an eye, over a dozen alchemists had perished to his hands. If not for Songqing's quick reaction, it was likely that he would have also died to the hands of this person after being caught off guard. Xiaoying, with her enchanting figure, was beside Songqing. However, the current her was staring at the black-clothed man with a somewhat grave expression in her pretty eyes. With her powerful spiritual perception that far exceeded that of others, she was able to sense that the black-clothed man in front of them possessed an extremely terrifying strength. Two young geniuses of the Pill Tower. Haha, this reputation is indeed wonderful. However, I can only use such tactics for the champion spot. A trace of a strange smile continued to hang on the black-clothed man's face as he spoke despite having been surrounded by so many people. May I know who this senior is? Aren't you afraid that the Pill Tower will pursue this matter if you kill us here? Xiao Ying's pretty eyes stared at the black-clothed man before she suddenly asked. Cuckoo, everyone here will die. Therefore, the Pill Tower will not be aware of it. The black-clothed man laughed as he looked at Xiaoying. He appeared just like a cat playing with a mouse. The numerous alchemists around suddenly became furious upon hearing his words. All of them unceremoniously drew their weapons. Their eyes revealed a fierce glint as they stared at the black-clothed man. Aren't you a little too arrogant? There are so many of us here. Do you think that we are afraid of you? Songqing furiously cried out. The strange smile on the black-clothed man's face suddenly spread upon hearing this. Be careful, someone has laid an ambush. Before the strange smile on the black-clothed man's face had completely spread, the many alchemists who had surrounded him suddenly emitted miserable screeches. Over a dozen drops of blood-dripping human heads soared into the sky with bright red pillars of blood. This sudden, unexpected change had caused Songqing and the hidden Xiao Yan to be shocked. Their gazes hurriedly looked over, only to see over a dozen figures with sharp killing intent. That unusually powerful aura caused the expressions of everyone to change. Within less than a minute, fresh blood had dyed this lush, green ground into a blood-red color. The many alchemists who had been alive earlier were now dead ghosts. Their eyes were all wide open. They were all filled with shock and resignation. Even in death, they were unable to clearly see just who had attacked them.
Bang! Bang!
Xiao Ying's and Songqing's group was greatly shocked by this unexpected change. Immediately, Douqi hurriedly surged out of their bodies and blocked those sharp figures that had come charging at them. These fellows were hiding in the crowd. Xiao Yan looked at the massacre that had suddenly occurred from within the forest. His expression slightly changed. He had been unable to discover these hidden fellows from the beginning. Moreover, from the looks of it, it seemed that they were actually of the same gang as that black-clothed man. Just who are these people? They really dare to attack people from the Pill Tower. There were finally some people in the basin who were unable to endure any longer in the face of this sudden killing of the dozen-plus wolf and tiger-like figures. They hurriedly took their spatial rocks out of their storage ring and quickly shattered them. Space became distorted, and they were about to flee. I have said, no one here can leave. That black-clothed man, who had not attacked, smiled when he saw them try to escape. He gently waved his sleeves, and an invisible spatial ripple spread out. After which, it solidified the people who were about to flee from the pill realm. Next, he clenched his hand, and the surrounding space was suddenly suppressed. He forcefully pinched those alchemists into clusters of blurry blood and flesh. Distorting space, this fellow is indeed an elite dozun. Xiao Yan's eyes shrank when he saw this black-clothed man intervening. The alchemists in the battleground, who had lost their final tactic, began to retaliate with all their might. However, the strength of the dozen-plus black-colored figures far surpassed them. Other than a couple of people who could struggle against them, most of the remaining people suffered a miserable death. The massacre continued for around 10 minutes or so. Less than 10 of the 100 alchemists remained. Song Qing, Chao Ying, and the 2 elders of the profound Xian sect carrying Chen Xian were among them. A useless struggle. The strength of those who remained were at the dozone class. Hence, the dozen-plus black figures had difficulty eating at them when they clustered together. All the black figures could do was surround them. However, from the looks of it, breaking through the defenses of Chao Ying's group was merely a matter of time. Song Qing's expression was ugly as he looked at the surrounding black-robed people with an extremely dense killing aura. His face was volatile. He could sense a deathly aura from the bodies of these people. Does Senior intend to kill all of us? Chao Ying, who usually wore an enchanting smile on her face, currently had a green expression. She had been special since she was young. There had been a countless number of guards around her. She had hardly seen such a bloody battlefield. Cuckoo, I am quite interested in your soul. If you are allowed to grow, it is likely that you will really be able to become the next giant head of the Pill Tower. Unfortunately, the black-clothed man laughed as he stared at Chao Ying. He licked his lips as though he was looking at his prey. Chao Ying's face was ice-cold. She was aware that this person was determined to eliminate them. However, even though the other party was strong, it was likely impossible for them to kill her in this place without paying some price. She definitely possessed some trump cards in order to become the person the Pill Tower thought most highly of. The black-clothed man ignored Chao Ying's expression. His gaze glanced at the couple of people still resisting, after which he slowly took a step forward. Just when he had taken a third step, his body suddenly trembled. His cold eyes shot to the large tree where Xiao Yan was hidden. Xiao Yan quietly cried out, "This is bad," within his heart when the black-clothed man paused his footsteps. This person's spiritual perception was too strong. "Come out." Before Xiao Yan could withdraw, after quietly crying out in his heart, a terrifying suction force surged out. The surrounding large trees shattered into dust in the next instant. Xiao Yan's figure was pulled forward by over a dozen meters. Only then did he forcefully stabilize his body. However, the current him had already landed in the interior of the spatial barrier. The human figure that had suddenly been pulled forcefully from the forest caused Chao Ying's group to be shocked. However, they finally sighed in relief after seeing his face. The eyes of Song Qing revealed a gloating expression that was difficult to detect. "Cuckoo, Xiao Yan. Teske, I had yet to go look for you, but instead you have delivered yourself to me." That black-clothed man was startled when he saw that the hidden figure was Xiao Yan. His face was immediately lifted into a strange smile as he laughed. Xiao Yan's eyes were staring intently at the foreign black-clothed man. From the other party's tone, it appeared that the man was acquainted with him. However, Xiao Yan was unable to recall ever meeting this person. He had not met many Dozun class experts, but all of them had left behind an extremely deep impression. Only this person in front of him caused him to feel a sense of unfamiliarity. "Expert, may I know who are you? Xiao Yan does not seem to be acquainted with you." Xiao Yan spoke in a deep voice as he cupped his hands to the black-clothed man. "If we are not acquainted, then so be it," the black-clothed man smiled. After which, he randomly said, "In any case, no one here will be able to escape." "That includes you?" Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes. He could sense this black-clothed man's desire to kill. Clearly, it would likely not be too relaxing if he wanted to safely escape today. Xiao Yan's feet stepped into empty air, after which, he slowly stepped back. With a flash, he rushed beside Xiao Ying's group. Currently, it was not the time to act courageous. The surrounding dozen-plus black-clothed men were extremely powerful. Based on Xiao Yan's estimation with his eyes, it was likely that there were 6 to 7 Do Zone class experts. This lineup was quite strong even in the Central Plains region. It was unexpected that they would appear here at the same time. Other than the 2 elders from the profound Xin sect, who revealed a fierce glint in their eyes, the remaining people felt all right about Xiao Yan suddenly being pulled over. At this time, an additional person meant that they had gained an additional chance to escape. They had clearly witnessed Xiao Yan's strength on the hill today. What should we do? Xiao Ying's pretty eyes glanced at Xiao Yan as she softly asked. What can we do? That fellow is an elite Dozun. All of you should think of your own way to escape. Xiao Yan helplessly replied. How will we flee? That fellow will block us even if we use the spatial stone. Song Qing frowned and demanded. Xiao Yan spread his hands. He was too lazy to argue with him. In any case, if anything were to really go wrong, he would unleash the extermination fire lotus to escape. As for Chowing and the others, he did not possess the energy. I am able to break this spiritual barrier. However, if I attack the barrier, that fellow will definitely intervene. Therefore, I will need some time. Xiao Ying gently clenched her silver teeth. Her pretty eyes were staring at Xiao Yan in an unblinking manner. She knew that if one were to talk about fighting with others, it was likely that the one with the greatest fighting ability here was Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan raised his eyebrows upon hearing her words. He was a little surprised as he looked at Chowing. She was indeed worthy of the nickname witch. She was confident she could break the spiritual barrier that an elite Dozun had established. This was really a little extraordinary. We are able to block these black-clothed people, but that fellow, a middle-aged man with blood adhering to his face, hesitated for a moment before bitterly laughing. Xiao Yan glanced at him. By being able to endure until now, it was sufficient evidence that he was not an ordinary character. Of course, those who could enter this pill realm all possess some skill. Whether one was stronger or weaker would be determined by who possessed more skills. How long do you need? Xiao Yan did not have the time to think more at this moment. A thought passed through his mind, and he swiftly asked after an instant. 3 minutes. Chowing quickly replied. Xiao Yan was quiet for a moment, after which he slowly nodded in front of everyone's anxious eyes. Although the other party was an elite Dozun, Xiao Yan still had the confidence to block him for 3 minutes. Everyone sighed in relief when they saw Xiao Yan nod his head. A couple of people threw some gazes of gratitude to Xiao Yan. All of them clearly understood that exchanging blows with the black-clothed man was the most dangerous thing. However, only Xiao Yan barely possessed that kind of ability within this group of theirs. Even the 2 elders from the profound Xin sect did not say much at this moment. Although they had the strength of 9-star Dozongs, there was still a great gap between them and the Dozun class. It was likely that they would end up in a terrible situation should they exchange blows with him. Thank you very much.
Cao Yin xúc tì thành két Xiao Yan.
After which, his toes gently pressed on the ground. Her delicate figure flew backwards. Just when her delicate figure was rushing backwards, her black hair, usually restrained by a ribbon, suddenly scattered. At this instant, an unusually majestic spiritual pressure slowly spread from between Xiao Ying's eyebrows.
Attack.
Song Qing let out a stern cry just as Xiao Ying rushed back. Majestic Do Qi immediately surged out of his body, after which he rushed toward the surrounding black-clothed men, firmly pestering them in the process. Xiao Yan quietly felt shocked within his heart as he sensed the mighty spiritual strength that spread from between Xiao Ying's eyebrows. This woman was indeed not simple. If one were to discuss the strength of a person's spiritual strength, Xiao Ying would definitely be the strongest one among those of similar age that Xiao Yan had met all these years. It seemed the reason she had been bestowed the nickname, which was not entirely because of her bewitching appearance. If she were given sufficient time to grow, it was likely that her future would be limitless. At that time, even this mysterious, black-clothed Dozun would not be her match. Song Qing's group intervened and blocked that dozen over black-clothed individuals. At the same time, Xiao Yan dared to slight his task. His body moved, and he appeared a short distance in front of the black-clothed man. His expression was solemn as he looked at the other party. Jade green flames slowly surged out from within his body. You are thinking of blocking this venerable self with your strength? The black-clothed man's eyes were cold as they stared at Xiao Yan, after which he swiftly glanced to the side of the spiritual barrier. Xiaoying frowned as she began to use her tactics to undo the barrier. The black-clothed man immediately let out a cold snort as he randomly waved his sleeves. The space around Xiao Yan solidified with lightning-like speed, after which it appeared just like a prison that firmly locked him in. Xiao Yan's expression changed slightly when he sensed the heaviness of the surrounding solidified space. An elite Dozun was indeed a freak. They were able to turn empty space into a prison with the rays of their hands. Moreover, this prison was so firm that it could not be broken. Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change, First Change. Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change, Second Change. Fortunately, Xiao Yan was not an ordinary person. His heart clearly understood just how troublesome it was to deal with an elite Dozun. He did not dare to hold back as he unleashed the Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change to the second change. The Do Chi within his body soared. Only then did it forcefully shatter the surrounding solidified space. After which, Xiao Yan flashed and once again blocked the route of the black-clothed man. The Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change of the Burning Flame Valley? Surprise also flashed across the eyes of the black-clothed man when he saw Xiao Yan's strength suddenly soar. His feet immediately stomped on the empty air, after which his body appeared to have teleported as it appeared in front of Xiao Yan. An ordinary palm flew out and smashed toward Xiao Yan's chest. Xiao Yan's expression had become extremely solemn upon facing this gentle palm from the black-clothed man. The other party's palm had locked onto the space around his body, causing him to have no ability to dodge. Since he could not dodge, the only thing he could do was forcefully receive the attack. Xiao Yan immediately clenched his teeth. His hand gently shook in a strange manner. A wave of an extremely strong hidden force erupted. Octane Blast. The hidden force was transferred over Xiao Yan's bones, after which it left his body and poured into the black-clothed man's palm. However, this merely caused his palm to slightly pause. Open Mountain Seal. Sea Flipping Seal. The hand seals changed in a lightning-like fashion. Immediately, 2 bright energy handprints erupted from Xiao Yan's hand. They heavily smashed into the black-clothed man's palm, causing his palm wind to gradually weaken. Humph! The black-clothed man appeared to be extremely displeased at Xiao Yan's stubbornness. An impatience finally flashed across his eyes. The surrounding spiritual barrier also became more pale while it was being undone by Xiaoying. A wave of a strange, hot energy suddenly surged out of the body of the black-clothed man after the cold snort sounded. Subsequently, it agglomerated into a deep blue, strange crystal layer on his arm. Looking from a great distance, it appeared as though it was a blue-colored crystal hand. A dangerous feeling surged into Xiao Yan's heart when that strange crystal layer appeared. His finger was flicked as a reflex action. A silver glow flashed in front of him, and the Earth Demon puppet appeared.
Bang!
The Earth Demon puppet had just appeared when the space in front of Xiao Yan became distorted. Immediately a hand that was covered by deep blue crystals penetrated the empty space, after which it heavily landed on the chest of the Earth Demon puppet. Immediately, an unusually ear-piercing sound appeared. After the punch landed, that incomparably tough chest of the Earth Demon puppet formed a dent that was nearly half an inch deep. Its skin cracked apart, revealing the silver-colored interior of its body. The terrifying force sent the Earth Demon puppet flying backwards after shattering its chest. Xiao Yan was also subsequently affected by it. A portion of the strength was transmitted to his body, causing his expression to turn a little pale. His feet pressed against empty air as he hurriedly retreated. This fellow, what terrifying strength! Shock rose within Xiao Yan's heart as he withdrew in a miserable manner. If the Earth Demon puppet did not feel even the slightest pain, it was likely that this punch would have taken its life. It was difficult to imagine just what kind of injury Xiao Yan would have suffered if that punch, which had shot through the air, had landed on him. Is this the strength of an elite Dozun? Xiao Yan glanced at the chest of the Earth Demon puppet which appeared to have completely collapsed. His eyes involuntarily shrank as he did so. Clang! A slight cracking sound suddenly appeared in the air while Xiao Yan was stabilizing his body. Hurry and leave. The spiritual barrier is broken. Xiao Ying's lovely voice was transmitted into everyone's ears the instant after the noise spread. Xiao Yan's reaction was extremely swift when he heard her words. He had just stabilized his body when he turned around without hesitation. The silver glow under his feet flashed, and he transformed into an afterimage that rushed toward the forest at the speed of lightning.